So, I'm a 32-year-old guy working in tech. But before you roll your eyes, I'm not one of those crypto brothers or a startup founder chasing a unicorn valuation. My job is actually kind of boring to most people. I specialize in legacy mainframe systems. You know those room-sized computers from the 80s and 90s that everyone thinks are extinct? They aren't. They actually run the backbone of the global banking, airline, and insurance industries. It's a niche skill, unglamorous and very quiet. Up until recently, I was making about $70,000 a year. And honestly, I was happy. I bought my house 5 years ago when the market was at rock bottom. My car is paid off, and I live a low-stress life. I thought we were doing fine. My fiancée, who I'll call Sarah, didn't see it that way. She works in marketing, where image is everything. To her, working in tech is supposed to mean hoodies, stock options, and billions. To her, my job was just tinkering with old junk. But the real problem wasn't my job. It was her ex-boyfriend. Let's call him Chad. Chad was a finance guy. The type who wore expensive suits, drove a leased luxury car, and flashed money around. He was her one that got away, and he became the invisible yardstick I was constantly measured against. The disaster started on a Tuesday. We were looking at wedding venues online. I found this nice, historic estate that was actually within our budget. I showed it to her, and she just sighed. She told me it was fine, but then dropped the bomb that Chad just took his new girlfriend to Italy for a month. I tried to ask what that had to do with us, but she cut me off. She went on a rant about how Chad is a provider who makes $400,000 a year. She told me it was embarrassing to tell her friends I fix old computers. She literally used the word embarrassing. Then came the ultimatum. She looked me dead in the eye and said she couldn't be the only one worrying about our status. She said verbatim, "I can't marry a man who makes less than my ex." It wasn't a fight. It was a business transaction. And in that moment, I didn't feel sad. I felt this weird, cold clarity. See, I had been sitting on an email for 3 weeks. I was torn about it because I liked my low-stress life. But looking at her, realizing she viewed me as a financial accessory, made the decision easy. I stood up and said, "No problem." She actually smiled. She thought she'd won. She started talking about how she could get me an interview at Chad's firm for an analyst role. I cut her off, walked to my desk, and turned my monitor around to face her. I told her, "I mean no problem as in the wedding is off. But also, look at this." It was a formal offer letter from one of the biggest tech corporations on the planet, the kind of company that basically runs the internet. They were offering me a senior director position because their entire data infrastructure relies on the specific old junk code I specialize in. They'd been trying to recruit me for a year. She scanned the letter. Her eyes bugged out when she saw the compensation package. $550,000 base salary, plus stock options, plus bonuses. She looked at me with a look I'd never seen before. It wasn't love. It was pure hunger. She asked why I hid it, and I told her I wasn't hiding it. I was deciding if I wanted that kind of stress, but her reaction was instant. She threw her arms around me, screaming about how we got the job and how we could afford the expensive venue now. I had to physically pry her arms off me. I told her I was taking the job, but we were done. She flipped. She went from celebrating to screaming in 2 seconds. She claimed she motivated me. She said I was throwing away our future over one little comment. I pointed out that she put a price tag on me of $400,000, and now that she knew I was worth $550,000, she wanted to stay. That was unforgivable. I clicked accept on the offer letter right in front of her and told her she had until the end of the month to move out. I thought that was the end of it. I was so naive. The end of the month came. I'd been busy wrapping up my old job and starting the onboarding for the new one. I came home on the 30th, expecting an empty house. Instead, I found Sarah on the couch, eating takeout, watching TV. When I asked why she was still there, she didn't even look at me. She said, "I'm not going anywhere. You can't just kick me out. This is my home, too." I reminded her the house was in my name, bought years before I met her. She wasn't on the deed or the mortgage. She started yelling about how she picked out the curtains and the couch, so she had contributed to the household and had rights. She called me pathetic and refused to leave. I went to my office, printed out a formal 30-day notice to vacate, which is a legal requirement in my state for a tenant without a lease, and handed it to her. She laughed at it. She literally crumbled it up and threw it at me. I called the legal assistance line provided by my new company's benefits package. They connected me with a real estate attorney who was terrifyingly calm. He explained that she was now considered an unlawful detainer, basically a squatter. We had to follow the strict legal process. If I changed the locks or threw her stuff out, I'd be the one in trouble. I had to wait out the 30 days, and if she was still there, we'd file a lawsuit. So I had to live with my ex-fiancée who hated me. It was hell. I was working 12-hour days at this new, high-pressure job, and coming home to her glaring at me. She'd invite friends over to drink my wine and trash-talk me loudly in the kitchen. She was trying to make me miserable enough to pay her to leave. 2 weeks into this, I came home to find a process server at my door. Sarah wasn't just squatting. She was suing me. I read the complaint at my kitchen table, hands shaking. She was demanding $150,000. The claims were ridiculous. She sued for intentional infliction of emotional distress and unjust enrichment. Her argument was that she was the driving force behind my career upgrade. She claimed her emotional support and motivation were the direct cause of my new salary, and therefore she was entitled to a cut. She also claimed we were domestic partners, which we weren't legally, and wanted a stake in the house equity. My lawyer looked at the filing and sighed. He told me it was a shakedown. Her lawyer was working on contingency, meaning he only got paid if she won, and they were betting I'd pay $50,000 just to make the headache go away because I was a rich tech director now. But my lawyer is a shark. He said, if they want to play, let's play. We aren't settling. We are countersuing. We filed an emergency order to freeze my credit cards. I had canceled the ones I knew about, but we did a deep dive. Turns out, she had an old card where she was an authorized user. In the 2 weeks since the breakup, she had racked up $15,000. Designer clothes, spa days, and, weirdly, several large cash advances. This changed everything. My lawyer said, this isn't a relationship dispute anymore. This is statutory fraud. We filed a response denying her claims and a countersuit for the $15,000 debt plus legal fees. Then, my lawyer filed a motion to compel discovery. He demanded all her text messages, emails, and bank statements from the last year to prove the nature of her support. Her lawyer fought it, calling it an invasion of privacy. But the judge, in no nonsense, older woman, sided with us. She basically said, if your client claims her emotional support is worth $150,000, the defense has a right to see evidence of that support. A few weeks later, the data dump arrived. My lawyer called me to his office immediately. He looked grim. He said, it's worse than we thought. She wasn't just using you. It was conspiracy. He showed me the text. There was a massive thread between Sarah and one person, Chad, the ex, except he wasn't her ex. They had been together the whole time. The texts were sickening. Chad, how's the mark? You getting to upgrade the ring yet? Sarah, no, he's still happy with his junk computers. It's pathetic. I'm so bored. Chad, stick to the plan. We need him to secure the bag. Give it 6 months, get married, then we file for divorce. We'll drain him. Community property state, baby. It turned out Chad wasn't rich. He was drowning in debt. The luxury car was a rental he used to keep up appearances. They were grifters. They viewed me as a stable, naive target to fund their lifestyle. Then I saw the text from the night I got the job offer. Sarah, OMG got an offer. $550K base. Chad, what? Seriously. Sarah, yes. I pulled the ultimatum card, and he showed me the letter. We hit the jackpot. Chad, lock it down. Be the perfect wife. Do not let him go. Sarah, bad news. He dumped me. He told me to get out. Chad, fix it. Cry. Do whatever you have to do. If he kicks you out, squat. You have rights. Get a lawyer. We will sue him for palimony. And then the bank statements. The $15,000 she charged on my card, the cash advances matched perfectly with Venmo payments from her account to Chad. She was stealing my money to pay his debts. My lawyer sat back and smiled a very scary smile. We are going to destroy them. The showdown happened at the deposition. It was me, my lawyer, Sarah, and her lawyer in a conference room. Her lawyer started off cocky, asking me if I agreed that Sarah was my rock during my career transition. My lawyer interrupted. Objection. But before my client answers, we like to enter Exhibit A into the record. He slammed a thick binder of text onto the table. He opened it to a bookmark page and started reading aloud. From Chad to your client, he's a mark. We'll drain him in the divorce. And your client's response. I know, I just hate pretending to love him. Sarah went pale. Her lawyer looked like he was going to choke. He tried to stammer that this was inadmissible, but my lawyer kept going. Exhibit B, my lawyer said, bank statements. Here is a $1,000 cash advance on my client's stolen credit card. And here is a $1,000 transfer to Chad on the same day with the memo for our future. That is not emotional support. That is conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Her lawyer stood up so fast his chair fell over. He grabbed Sarah by the arm and dragged her into the hallway. We could hear screaming through the door. He was shouting, You lied to me. You committed perjury. 10 minutes later, they came back. Her lawyer looked defeated. He said, My client is dropping the suit. Not enough, my lawyer said, not even looking up from his papers. Here are the terms. 1. She drops the suit with prejudice, meaning she can never file again. 2. She vacates the house in 48 hours. 3. She signs this. He slid a document across the table. It was a confession of judgment for $45,000 that covered the $15,000 she stole plus all my legal fees. Sarah started crying, saying she didn't have that kind of money. Then you shouldn't have stolen it, I said. My lawyer told her, If you don't sign this, we will file a police report for credit card fraud and hand this entire binder to the district attorney. You and Chad can explain the conspiracy charge to a judge in criminal court. She signed it. Her hand was shaking so bad she could barely write. The eviction was fast. I stayed away while she moved out, but my lawyer confirmed she was gone. I had the locks changed and hired a cleaning crew to scrub the house top to bottom. It felt like an exorcism. Life moved on. The new job is intense. If I screw up, entire banking systems go offline, but I love the pressure. I'm good at it. And yeah, the money is nice. I paid off the legal bills and settled into my new normal. About 3 months later, I was leaving my office building late at night. It was pouring rain. I saw a woman huddled near the entrance, shivering. It was Sarah. She looked terrible. Thin, tired, wet. She saw me and ran over. Opie, please, she begged. Just listen. I told her to talk to my lawyer, if it was about the payment plan. It's not that, she cried. Chad left me. As soon as the lawsuit fell apart and the money dried up, he ghosted. He called me toxic. I have nothing. I'm sleeping on my sister's couch. The judgment is ruining my credit. I can't even rent an apartment. Please, you won. You're rich now. Can't you just forgive the debt? For old time's sake. I looked at her, and I waited for the anger to come back. But it didn't. I just felt nothing. She was a stranger. A bad line of code that I had already deleted. No, I said. She looked shocked. What? Why? You have everything. For old time's sake? I asked. Old time sake was you calling me a mark and planning to drain me dry. You aren't sorry you did it. You're sorry the con didn't work. You're a bad investment, Sarah. She started screaming that I was a monster, that I was cold, that I was leaving her with nothing. I'm leaving you with exactly the value you brought to my life, I said. I walked to my car and didn't look back. I'm still at the job. I'm dating again, but taking it very slow. And every month, on the 1st, I get a check for $200. It reminds me that sometimes the quiet guys who fix the old machines are the ones you really shouldn't mess with. Fiancée told me I was embarrassing because I didn't make as much as her ex. I revealed I got a $550,000 job offer, then dumped her. She refused to leave, sued me for part of my income, and it turned out she was conspiring with her ex, who was actually her current boyfriend, to scam me. My lawyer destroyed them. She owes me $45,000, and she's now single and homeless while I enjoy my quiet life.